I have to say that I absolutely love the final panel of the manga where Ruby shouts, "It's Oshi No Ko time!" That made me so emotional, I cried the whole day and I will cry for the next 5 working days. Oshi No Ko definitely has ended, and it has ended with one of the endings of all time. The story concluded, the characters said words, well, some of them. This last chapter was drawn in black and white and the publish button was pressed. The ending was written by a clown for clowns. Tragically, we are those clowns. My opinion on the ending won't surprise anyone who has watched my last few videos on the series. I think Akasaka lost the plot a while ago and the manga has been nothing but a mess ever since. I didn't think he could pull off a good ending after everything that happened in the story, and he didn't, unsurprisingly. If you asked me at around 80 chapters in, just when it looked like Ruby was gonna take over and turn it into the Ruby show, I would have died on the hill that Oshi No Ko would become one of the best manga ever made. Died on that hill. Sadly, it went downhill at such a rapid pace, it's actually a feat. It's worthy of an achievement. Now, the ending would have always been a bit controversial because of its nature. It was never meant to be a happy one. I think Aqua was always meant to die at the end of the story, which is most definitely not the problem. The execution, on the other hand, well, that's a problem. But before we get into the execution, let's talk a bit about the disparity regarding Aqua's death. One side of people think Aqua should have lived and had a happy ending with his friends, and sister, gotten some sort of redemption, accepted himself for who he is now and live for the sake of who he became. And I don't blame the people who believe that. I mean, the story leaned towards a happy ending for Aqua every now and then, and it was definitely a possibility. However, I think it's alright that Aqua passed away. Guys, his goal was always revenge, no matter what. He was ready to die to achieve his revenge. I don't think it should really surprise anyone that he actually went ahead and passed away. Now, there was a part in the story where it looked like Aqua might live for Ruby's sake. There was a whole arc about that, but it was not guaranteed to happen like that. It didn't conclude in Aqua choosing life over revenge. He always went back and forth between those two decisions but never settled on one. So really there's no point talking too much about this. Think about, for a second, what kind of relationship Ruby and Aqua would even have. Ruby was infatuated with Aqua. She wasn't growing out of that. There was no point in the story that suggested she could or would change that. And because Aka doubled down on the incest, it would have been a messy relationship anyway. If Ruby moved on and accepted Aqua as her brother, then this would be a completely different thing. Also, remember that when Aka partnered with Mengyo, he actually told her how the story would end. Now, I'm not saying Mengyo had anything to do with the ending, she most likely played no part in it, but the fact that she really liked the ending should reveal that it wasn't supposed to be a happy one. After all, she has a dark fetish for this kind of endings. So, I don't think Aqua dying at the end is a problem, but oh boy, how Aqua died is a fucking problem. What was Aqua's master plan? I'm gonna stab myself and then jump on Kamiki and we're gonna fall into this river. Bro, get the fuck out of here. If Aqua was going to die, then he should have died at the hands of Kamiki. He should have confronted Kamiki, killed him, removed the threat to Ruby's life and died in the process. Make it so that Aqua's death would be inevitable to defeating Kamiki. Put it in the bag and ship it boys writing one-on-one. But no, I'm gonna stab myself, me so stupid. Here's why this is stupid. Aqua went from seeing only revenge to wanting to live his new life, to seeing only revenge to wanting to live his new life, and back and forth quite a few times throughout the story. This seemed to be his constant internal conflict. Jump forward to the reincarnation reveal between him and Ruby, and now it seems Aqua wants to make Ruby happy. Wants to protect her and give her the life she never had. That's what cements his purpose. Pretty straightforward. Aqua knows Ruby is infatuated with him. He sees and realizes that he means everything to her. I mean, Ruby wanted to be his idol. And in turn, Ruby also means everything to Aqua. So in order to protect her, Aqua kills himself? So you see why this doesn't make that much sense? Do you know how easily this would have been fixed? Just let Aqua die while dealing with Kamiki. Very simple. What is the logic behind Aqua killing himself to protect Ruby? What is the logic behind Aqua's drawn out death scene? Oh, I want to leave, my regrets. If you want to make the story a tragedy, make it a proper tragedy. Let Ruby be killed by Nino and Aqua die thinking he saved Ruby. That's a tragedy. The only tragedy in this story is the writing one. Oh my god. This story had all the pieces for a proper bitter ending. Seriously, if you look at the ending in a vacuum, just the ending itself and nothing else, it's actually brilliant, it really is. Kana never confessed her feelings for Aqua. That's great, it's bitter. Akane failed to fulfill her promise and save Aqua. That's great, it's bitter. Ruby is left wearing a happy facade. Again, bitter. Yes, there were hopeful moments, yes, he gave a glimpse of happiness every now and then, it made you wonder if somewhat a happy ending was possible, but ultimately, it didn't have to happen. The way every character had a bitter ending is fine. It is fine. You may not like it, and I don't blame you, but you can't hold that against it. However, if you work your way backwards from the ending, you realize how disconnected everything is, how many important plot points are forgotten. It's a mess of a mess. The reincarnation meant nothing. Sarina and Goro were brought back to life just for Goro to die again and for Sarina to suffer even more. And for what? Because the crow girl wanted them to kill Kamiki? What even is her problem with Kamiki? She's a fucking crow, she means nothing. The whole deity bullshit meant nothing. Kana? I mean, she isn't even a character. I'm sorry, but she's not. She's just a dumb girl who had the same arc over and over again without any resolution. I'm gonna be your star. Kamiki? You can't tell me that Kamiki wasn't meant to be a victim of the entertainment industry. The guy was groomed and abused from a very young age. Then he got demolished by Ai. It makes perfect sense for him to turn a little insane and go on a murder spree. I would understand that, I would even have some sympathy. But there's no way in hell you're going to make Kamiki sympathetic when he's just an evil cunt. All this looming mystery and suspense centered around Kamiki, all these cryptic messages, just for him to be a boring evil cunt. Ai's character was really assassinated by those videotapes. It made her straight up retarded. She wants to be with Kamiki so much that she chooses to leave him to avoid hurting him, even though she knew she was the only good thing for Kamiki? Minus 500 IQ. This whole mystery with Kaburagi, Kindaichi and Kamiki, man please, what the fuck? How can the guy who made the first 80 chapters be the same guy who made the last 86? It's unbelievable. I feel so stupid taking seriously all those supernatural elements. Turns out nothing beyond the reincarnation itself had to even be in the story. Remember when we had the whole segment of the manga that took place in Takachiho and it was centered around the deity Ame no Uzume no Mikoto? We had all those connections with Amaterasu, then this crow girl appeared and we assumed she would be Atagarasu. Remember when we speculated how the starry eyes are connected to Amaterasu? Yeah, it must have been a fever dream or something because literally nothing, seriously, nothing meant anything. How? How is this possible? So listen, apparently this child that calls herself Tsukuyomi was an injured crow that Goro and Sarina mended, or perhaps she witnessed them mending an injured crow, and that restored her faith in humanity. It is implied that somehow she brought Goro and Sarina back to life after she saw how they died. She clearly has some powers, but whatever she is or isn't, not even Akasaka knows. Now, tell me if this makes sense. The self-called Tsukuyomi brought Sarina and Goro back to life to offer them another chance at living. But she forces them to take revenge on Kamiki, the guy that had nothing to do with Sarina's death, and the guy that did not kill Goro. I'm sorry, am I missing something here? Oh wait, he must have killed Ai, and because these two loved Ai, she forced them to take revenge for Ai. But wait, Kamiki did not kill Ai. It was Ryusuke. Man, it makes zero sense. It makes zero sense. Come on. I don't even know what to say. This Akasaka guy really needs an editor who can say no. The worst part of the worst part has got to be Ruby. Ruby starts the story wanting to be like Ai. Then she realizes that she doesn't want to be like Ai. She's not going to be like Ai. This was a turning point for her character, a growth point. Just to end the story becoming Ai 2.0. Man, is this negative character development or what? In the end, Ruby is living for the dead? she pretends to be happy while hurting inside. What for? I mean, she might as well unalive herself at this point, no? Like, what was the moral of her character? Hide your trauma and gaslight yourself into being happy? She's gonna be an idol for a few more years and then what? Sarina had a fucked up life, so let's give her another fucked up life as Ruby. What's the point of this? I mean, what conclusion should we take? If your life is fucked up, it's gonna get worse? The message that comes out of Oshi No Ko is lies are good, keep lying, nobody cares about your feelings. What happened to the entertainment industry? The story went from calling out injustice and bringing up the question of what could the young talent do against that? How can they combat this evil in the industry? To, well, nothing, suck it up and lie. Ai's whole character was centered around lying. It showed how much lying hurt her and hurt the people around her. So let's end the story with Ruby taking the role of Ai and keep the lie going. Seriously, what was the point of Oshi No Ko?